Did you ever wonder why you talk too fast when you're nervous? Did you ever wonder why you can say your brilliant idea in a meeting and everyone kind of ignores you, and then someone else says basically the same thing, and everyone's like, wow, that's the best idea I've ever heard? Did you ever get into a situation where you found someone was being rather aggressive to you and you didn't have a good response? And then a day or a week later, you're like, I know what I should have said. I should have said this, that, and the other thing. Oh man, I really hope that happens to me again. Just say that. Did you ever get up and do a presentation? You're fully prepared. Maybe you had a few things memorized. You knew exactly what you wanted to say, and then you get up there and you draw a blank. Even if it's just on one little topic, you're like, oh, you get down, sit down in your seat, and you're like, I knew there was something I wanted to say. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot to say that. Do you feel like sometimes you use too many filler words? Do you feel like you use upspeak? Is there, do you feel like people can't hear you from across the room? Well, basically, what I want to tell you is I've got three reasons why we are not automatically incredible communicators. Why am I not automatically an incredible communicator? Okay? Reason number one why we are not automatically amazing communicators, and that is evolution. It's essentially your body. Our bodies go into some degree of fight or flight in nearly every situation that we encounter. All right. That means we have some easy speaking situations in our lives. Chit chatting with your friend, you feel really comfortable. There's no fight or flight there. But then there's this sort of spectrum, and all the way at the other end of the spectrum is the very, very high stakes type situations that you find yourself in, whether it's giving a presentation, being on a job interview, going on a first date, anything, being put on the spot, someone asking you difficult questions, or being with irate clients, giving bad news. Okay. These are things that put our body into fight or flight. It sort of resembles what we label as nervousness. All right. It actually means that your primitive brain shuts down your prefrontal cortex, and it gives it two choices. It gives your body two choices. You can run away, or you can stay and fisticuffs. Okay, those are your two choices. But they don't work for us at all in the professional or even our personal lives situations. That just don't work for us anymore. But it takes humans, like a million or so years to change our DNA, our characteristics. I don't know. Certainly, it still comes in handy, unfortunately, but we do not need it in most areas of our lives. And what happens when we go into fight or flight? As we already said, our brain prefrontal cortex kind of shuts down, and that's why you draw a blank and don't say what you want to say, or maybe it came out like, oh, that was like you're like really upset or something. It's normal, all right? So what we need to do is learn how to eliminate fight or flight's impact on our body, just shutting down the prefrontal cortex, closing up your throat, all right? And it sends the blood to your limbs because you're literally getting ready to run away or fight. Like, what if you were in your office and your boss barged in and was like, what's going on with this client, and why is it not working out, or what happened? And you're like, pew! You run out, you run into the hallway, you run all around the office, and then you come back to your desk and you're like, okay, I got this. Sorry for my hasty departure, you were saying. And then you kind of have the answer and you're all ready. It'd be cool, but it doesn't work. All right? The first reason why we're not automatically incredible communicators is evolution. It's our bodies going into fight or flight. The second reason why we're not automatically incredible, instant, incredible, amazing communicators, speakers in all situations of our lives is education. Our education system does not focus on your ability to communicate at all. It doesn't teach us how to introduce ourselves, how to make small talk. These are all things that should be included in our educational system, but they're not. It doesn't teach us. So in kindergarten, you start show and tell, and in kindergarten, you end show and tell. And show and tell should be every every year. Uh, but the educational system has no time for people to speak, for kids to speak. They only have time for kids to write. Everyone can do it at the same time, so they don't encourage rhetoric or debate. You will find schools that do that, but that's what we need in school. And not only does our educational system not teach us to communicate well, but they actually teach us to be petrified of communicating in the way that they ask us to give presentations. Okay? They maybe, I don't know, maybe every school's a little different, but I remember in school I got fourth grade, there was my first oral report I had to give in science class, and then I had another one maybe seventh grade, maybe one in high school, and they were all rather devastating. You get the syllabus or whatever the teacher tells you first day. You have to do an oral report or presentation on November 30th, say, and by Friday or Friday of next week, I want your title. It's the only thing they say to you is, I want your title. They want to make sure that you're doing a good topic. And then you are required to go home and figure out how to give a presentation. Shouldn't that be part of the curriculum? Learning how to give a presentation? Yes, it should, but it's not. So unfortunately, our educational system does us more harm than good when it comes to developing our communication skills. And what is the third reason why we are not automatically incredible communicators? And that is societal insanity. Okay, that's what I'm calling it. You heard it here, societal insanity. We humans in our society get mad at ourselves when we don't communicate really well. So not only do we not look at it as a learning opportunity, like, what did I do wrong? Let me work on this and get better. But we think, oh, there's something like inherently wrong with us if we can't communicate well automatically in high stakes situations, like going on a job interview or giving a presentation. How many people get down steps and they sit down in their chair and they sit next to somebody and they're like, I did the worst job ever. There's, oh no, you did great. You did great. Everybody always tells you you did great. Right? What else would they say? So every single thing that we are good at, we've practiced, we've learned. Every single thing that you do, you don't go, okay, today I'm going to be a brain surgeon, so let me pick up my handy dandy scalpel and figure this out. No, you want to be an accountant? You started math in first grade, all right? You have been developing your skills to count for a very long time. Then you had to go to undergrad and then you had to go to grad school. You had to specialize. And then guess what? You got your first day, whatever your job was, whatever your first day entry level position was, and you had gotten schooling for it. You kind of were like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Like you were prepared. You got 6 years of school, 4 years of school, whatever it was that you took to get there. And plus you had high school and a lot of things had to do with the course that you've taken in life. And then you get your job and you're like, a total newbie. And then you learned more and you made a mistake and then you learned from that mistake and then you practiced and you practiced and you got better and better. And of course you kept getting better and then you kept getting better jobs. But for some societally insane reason, we feel like our communication skills should just be like born in us. Communicating is the most challenging thing that the human body does, like by far. Okay, the next most challenging thing the human body does is opposable thumbs. Like we grasp things. That was how our evolution went. We were like, okay, you can just walk upright and opposable thumbs, and then it was like, okay, now you can communicate. Wahoo! Communicating is so complex. It's insane. It involves so many things, neurological things, telling you what to do, where to move, how to breathe. Breathing is involved. Articulating is involved, obviously. And then, of course, there's cognition. What are my thoughts? What are my ideas? Now, get this. This is the interesting part. You've got ideas in your brain, right? And you're like, oh, thought that through. That's awesome. Connections going through your brain saying, oh, I got from A to G and then to M and then you get to Z. So you made these connections because that's how your brain works. But then when you want to take that same concept that you've got pretty well figured out in your mind, you want to take that same concept and you want to explain it to other people, it's a different process altogether. It's not the same process that you went through to understand it with your magic brain doing magic things. It's a different process. So these are the reasons why you are not automatically a perfect communicator in really challenging speaking situations. I'm Ida Olsen, and I'm here to make you sound amazing.